that. I don't think that's anything complicated at all, though. Shouldn't just be when I rerun, which means I go here. Should move this comment. So stop the file thread, stop the keyboard thread. Remove everything. Maybe even this remove shouldn't be handled here. This is in scene.py. No, I think it should. I think this should actually be run here and possibly clearing the screen. Then, and commands render, then I think it's here. No, it was somewhere else. Here, it catches the rerun exception. Maybe here it could clear, actually. I think it makes sense to here remove all the objects and then clear the screen. I think, yeah. Then, and also update numplays, which is stored in the renderer. So here, when this loop continues, it's creating a new scene, but it isn't resetting numplays in the renderer. So I think here I can just set this to 0, and maybe now, maybe if I rerun now, then the number for the animations will restart at 0. Was it 0 before, or was it 1? When you first do it, it starts at 0, yeah. Which maybe doesn't make too much sense for my user-facing standard. But hey, that's good with me. Okay, so that makes sense now. Now it should be possible to just update from animation number. If I set this to like 4 and then rerun, maybe it didn't do anything. 3. Then it will show. Then it shows the animation that was numbered 4. So if I make this a 0 and just look at all of them, the animation on which the square is vanished. Oh, that was 3. The number was 3 when the square disappeared. Then if I put a 3 here and I rerun, I see that number. Okay. So then I can just keep, if I want to see only that animation, I can just keep rerunning like this. That's pretty nice. And then if I were to edit it and save again, okay. I think that's a pretty neat way to do it, since it only requires setting this one number. So what it should have is like rerun. I should be able to pass from animation number. It should be like that. And I guess an up to. There's no reason for it not to have like an up to number as well. So it'll just play that segment. Yeah, let me just start with the from animation number though. So rerun. Okay, so this will get a little complicated because when a rerun occurs, Where is it? It's like my observer. Where's the observer? Where is it? It's like my observer. Where's the observer? My handler. So in rerun, okay, when you rerun with the file handler, actually I don't have to worry about that right now. Yeah, right now I only have to worry about rerunning with the keyboard. Because I'm going to be typing that. And so when I run the rerun function, it's going to put rerun keyboard on the queue. So I think all I have to do is read it off of the queue from here. So where would I do that? Here I'm raising the rerun scene exception. It'd be kind of weird to raise the exception and then do some of the cleanup here, but process the KWArg here, because what I end up doing is like KWArg equals tuple at 1, now at 2, and then if from animation number in KWArgs, I'm going to update the config. KWArgs at that. You can probably do the same thing with up to. And that might be everything. Now if I do rerun from animation number equals 3, it'll do that. If I rerun again, okay. Maybe it should be something like set from animation number, because it's going to be like that forever, I guess, until I change it. But that'd be more typing, actually. And I think that might be annoying. Yeah, so I'll just keep that the way it is. If I were to do up to... Let me just see what happens if I do this with up to. Darn. Darn. Here and then there. So now I could run this. Then if I wanted to see only 1 and 2, I guess. Equals 1 up to. Number equals 2. Okay. That's weird. I guess it just bugs out. And because it bugs out, I think I'll just take out that option. I can never remember if Vim is going to pay something based on my cursor location when I use little p or large p. The little one goes... Oh, yeah. No, that can be kind of tricky. Takes some getting used to for sure. I find it a lot easier to just use visual select. I know if I yank an entire line, then it'll place an entire line there. But if I like yank like just a word or something, then I like visual select somewhere and then paste it. And that makes it a little easier. Just a tad easier. Okay, so I'm going to try this again. I'm going to do... The amount of typing this takes, though, is undeniably a problem. The amount of typing this takes, though, is undeniably a problem. Nobody's going to want to type that much. So this one only had 3, so I don't know if it makes sense. Maybe I can just leave this at 0 and put this at 2 and see if it doesn't play the last animation. No, yeah, it does something weird. I don't even know what it's doing. I'll just take that out. Commit all of my Vim to muscle memory. I don't know what I'm doing. I just do it. Yeah, it definitely happens after a while. Figure out why this. I don't even know how to describe what it does. Like, it doesn't crash. Okay, I think even that was extremely helpful, and it wasn't too much code. All I really did was add this line, or this section. Now, doing this from the keyboard, or from the file, will be a little bit trickier. Because what I want to do is I can run this like this. Then what I want to do is do something like, let's say, start previewing here. And I want to add this, and then somehow it would know to skip all the animations until it reached this. But I don't know if that's totally doable. So when I rerun from the keyboard, or rerun from, yeah, the keyboard thread, it doesn't update the config unless I ask it to. But somehow, when I place this line here, that's when I want it to update the config to like only start previewing at this line. But when it starts executing, it doesn't know this line exists. So maybe there's no choice but to do like something like start skipping. Like start skipping at first, and then eventually come to here. No, that's a little annoying. But yeah, just putting this here, I don't know if there's a way to detect this. Oh, this is gonna crash when it reaches this line. There's no way to detect this until it sees it the first time. That's annoying. Well, I guess... Well, as long as I have to do it that way anyway. Maybe just have something like skip animations. And then like stop skipping animations. And this could just... This will have to set a variable which triggers the skipping no matter what. It should be easy, because you have to run the scene first to reach embed 2. So this is the problem I'm running into. Say you're previewing like this. Oh, nope, not like that. What I do. No. Say you're previewing a scene and you decide, I want to change the file so that it starts right here. Python doesn't know that this line is here until it runs. So that it starts right here. Python doesn't know that this line is here until it runs it. So I'll want to like start skipping these animations, these first ones. But Python doesn't know to skip these first animations because it hasn't seen this line yet. So unless the default is to always skip animations until you see this line, which would be a weird default, I think, I would have to have something to signal that, hey, you should start skipping all these animations. If that makes sense. Or maybe the fast way to say that is that I can add this line after embed 2 has already been reached. So I can pause at embed 2, go into the file, and then add this. What I think I'll do is within scene, I'll add something. And this will just be skip animations. Then I'll add another one. Can inspect scan for it? No, I don't think so. If it were possible, that would be super. Like, we're currently abusing Python kind of a lot with the amount of stuff we're doing. Now, I don't think it would be possible. Like, even with inspect, yeah, Python is interpreted. There's no way to know this file or this line exists until you run it. Unfortunately. But this could just be something like self dot, like, I can't use the same skip animations variable. Oh, well, it's being stored in the config. The one that it normally uses is stored in the config, so maybe it's possible to just save something to the scene. Save something to the scene called skip animation preview or something like that. That'll be false by default. But in a case like this, you wouldn't really need a function. You just do skip animation preview equals true. And then later on, set that to false again. And then in the skipping logic, which is in the renderer for some reason, here, the conditions for skipping will be this or self.scene dot skip animation preview. But this, maybe this shouldn't be here. It's kind of weird for the renderer to read data from the scene. Especially since In order to reach this line, the scene has to call this function. Render. I think. Wait, not this. From play internal. The only way you can reach this function is if the scene calls it. So why would we check the scene's data here? What you should do is, if not skip rendering, or wait, how do I do how do I combine this? Basically, I'll say if self dot skip animation preview. I'll say if self dot skip animation preview. Basically, I want to do that. So it should be the and. So maybe that, yeah, so that works, I think. And if I do rerun? Okay. I think this will have some conflict though. If I do rerun and I do from animation number equals like 1, it won't matter, right? The file will take precedence. Or I do rerun with nothing. But after I edit the file to remove these lines, and then I save, then the keyboard thread should take precedence, so it'll start from the first one. Honestly, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'd find it sort of weird if it didn't follow the file, because it's running this file. It'd be sort of weird if these lines could be here, but Python ignores them to listen to the keyboard. So I'm okay with that. Mob. It's too many zeros. This makes me want to write more Manim code to see what I can do with live updating stuff. Anyway, I think that's actually decent, and that wasn't terribly much code, I don't think. It's only the skip animation preview. I should probably do the clearing the screen here. I don't think that's much work at all. And I don't need these. Yeah. Don't need that. The up to animation number. I don't know if I even want this, because this is supposed to stop the animation short. But that doesn't really make sense with this. Well, if the default after ending a scene was to always run embed 2, then it would kind of make sense. Because then you just stop it there and immediately run embed 2. So I'll say this option only makes sense if embed to is run at the end of a scene by default. Which the upstream version does run interact by default at the end of the scene. So we probably, I get the feeling we'll end up doing that. Okay, so what changes are left? Not that much. But I will clear the screen. That shouldn't be too much work. Here. Since all the renderer doesn't do that much to clear the screen, I don't think. Just frame buffer object.clear, and I think that's it. I think. Yeah, because it does render objects later. Wait, does that make sense? What does render objects do? Does it stuff, then it does render. Wait, does that make sense? What does render objects do? Does it stuff, then it does render group. Okay, and that's gonna draw. This is going to draw to the frame buffer. So all I have to do. Wait, where did it get window background color? Oh, it reads it from the config. So I think all I need to do to clear the screen is this self.renderer. Maybe it should clear its own screen. Because like I was saying before, it's kind of weird for the scene to edit data in the renderer. So maybe I just have a def clear screen. And this will do, grab this from the config, clear it here, then I'll have to swap the buffers or whatever. I think that's all it requires to clear the screen. Then I can actually set its own numplays to 0. And this could be like prepare for rerun or something. Although I'm actually sort of changing my mind on this. I think in this case, the scene should reset the numplays integer. But the only reason I think that is because I don't think the renderer should have numplays. I think numplays should be saved to the scene in the first place. I mean, that would make the most sense, I'd say. Anyway, let me see if I can clear the screen now. If I rerun, I do like from animation number equals like 4, which would mean nothing. It has no attribute clear screen. Okay. Oh, I didn't save that. Yeah, so that'll just clear the screen. If I did 3, it would show only that. If I did 2, only that. Oh, wait. Why was it not listening to the... Oh! It must have been doing the intersection. When I did from animation number equals 4, nothing gets played. So it's reading this, so that's making it skip. Eventually skip animation preview is false. But the config dict still only has from animation 4. And so it doesn't play this anyway. If I set it to 0, then the file takes precedence. Yeah, I guess that's fine. I guess sort of a weird way for it to behave. I mean, I think it makes sense if you understand how it's running. So given that, this wasn't too much code, which is great. The only thing is you have to, I guess you just have to remember skip animation preview, setting those to true and false. Okay, so that's actually a surprising amount of progress just in getting this preview to work, or the preview with skipping to work. I think the most useful thing to do now